Popcorn and whiskey here. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, it's a Friday evening, and it's been a few weeks since I've been on. There's reasons for that, and maybe I'll get into it, and maybe I won't. I don't know. But anyway, ciao. How you doing? Blah blah blah. All the good stuff. Let me do my opening stuff here because of the different platforms, and I repeat this all the time. But all right, come over here. Go to public. All right. Anybody can get on there now. Okay. Good, good, good. I will post this over there. And I come back over here. Post it here. Boom. Boom. Okay. The reason I have to go through all that is because I'm on Facebook Live, I'm on Twitch Live, and I'm on YouTube Live. YouTube Live. All together, all three at the same time. And Facebook just likes to do things really, really screwy and mess with everybody's head when they're doing this. And so you have to go into Facebook and change the settings. Speaking of changing settings, oh my gosh, stuff happened. Oh, gee whiz. Oops, just like that. See how easy it is? When you have a studio like I do, you have lights and what they call a light rig and microphone stands and things of that sort. If you move around the room, there's a chance you're going to run into something. And guess what I did? I ran into something. I actually ran into one of my poles that hold up my light rig. And my camera is on this light rig. So everything was out of whack, out of adjustment. So I had to change it all. And as I was doing that, there was a software update for the camera. So I needed to update that. I was hoping to have some different settings on there. Speaking of cameras, I've decided for the time being, I'm going to stick with this camera. And it's not that I dislike this camera. I wanted, and I still do, I want a different camera. Oh, yeah, by the way, popcorn and whiskey. Cheers. Here we go. Got to do the Slurpee thing at the beginning. Got to do that. So when you do this kind of stuff, the live stream, the microphone stuff and the camera stuff, the lights, I don't care who you are, you're constantly looking to update it, to upgrade it, no matter how good anybody else thinks it is. And bottom line, especially when it comes to microphones, and I was talking to somebody the other day about this, unless you have the trained ear, and I don't say that in a negative way, because I also do some very minimal voiceover work. But unless you have the trained ear and know what you're looking for, or know what you're listening for, and you have the right kind of, I guess, headphones to listen to it, you're not going to hear too much difference in microphones. The bottom line is, I got this microphone, and I know I talk tech stuff all the time. Ooh, wow. It's funny because like when the lights go on, the microphone comes on, I yawn. I haven't yawned all night long. I start yawning. So I got this microphone more for the style than the sound. And I went back and listened to a lot of my older podcasts when I was not using this microphone, and it sounded just fine. I did not need to spend the $60 for this microphone, but I did because I think it looks cool. It's just that simple. So anyway, and let me come back over here. So again, for those joining us, popcorn and whiskey Friday night. Cheers. Okay. So here's what we got going on tonight. Just like the description said, if you saw that, I'm going to be talking about several different things. One, I'm going to be talking about, hi, John, good evening. One, I'm going to be talking about nose rings. You don't want to miss that one. Two, I'm going to be talking about pond pumps. What do those two have in common? Not a damn thing. But it's on my mind because I built a pond pump. Hi, Bill. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming on. And I'm also going to be talking about SummerSlam. This is WrestleMania weekend. Oh, that reminds me, I should do my um, picks, my predictions. Yeah, I might just do that. That's what I could do. And what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, cell phones. Okay, let me start off with cell phones. Holy moly! And not cell phones, the physical phones, not the physical phones. More cell phone plans, more cell phone connections, if you will. Okay, so this whole thing came about. This whole thing about me looking into cell phones, cell phone plans, cell phone stuff, because I have a cousin from Italy who is visiting, and he's here for about a month or so. Younger kid, 20 years old, nicest kid in the world, fantastic. His father sent him here because he wants him to speak English for a month. Woo. Oh, nothing but English, and he's already very fluent in English, but he wants to make it better, wants to perfect it more. Okay, coming to Clinton, that's going to be something. Yeah, all the goofballs we have running around here who have perfect English, and John and Bill are both laughing right now. Absolutely, yeah, because Clinton is known for its English. It's proper English, that's for certain. Anyway, so he came here, and his father told me he's just going to get a SIM card for his cell phone while he was at the Philadelphia airport. I'm like, no, 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 no. First of all, I don't know if they sell just a SIM card. I'm going to assume since it's a bigger airport, it does or it can, but you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for it. I told him, get over here. We'll have Wi-Fi at the houses. We'll get you something, a SIM card or something. Don't worry about that. Okay. So in order to get a SIM card from a cell phone company, you have to get the, what's it called? The IMEI number from the phone, because each phone is different and it's like a internal serial number for the phone. So I guess companies don't think it's stolen or if it's compatible or something. And there's also, from what I understand, and I could totally be wrong with this, there are two kinds of phones out there, two different kind of networks, CDMA, I think it is, in GSM. I could be wrong, totally wrong with that. But anyway, a GSM phone is not compatible with the CDMA and vice versa. Okay. So for instance, and this is stuff I've been learning. I knew this a couple of years ago, but I thought they all went away, but I guess they're still here. If you are on the T-Mobile network and have a T-Mobile phone, that phone is not compatible with the Verizon network. I don't know about the AT&T network. We don't have very good AT&T coverage around here, so I don't even bother looking into AT&T. The two main ones are Verizon and T-Mobile. Used to be Sprint as well, but T-Mobile gobbled up shrimp. T-Mobile gobbled up Sprint. All right. So then you have a T-Mobile compatible phone, or you have a Verizon compatible phone. I'm on a cell phone plan called Visible Wireless. Been on it for 3 years or so. I am not loyal to any cell phone plans whatsoever. I used to be a huge fan of T-Mobile when I lived in Florida. Absolutely love T-Mobile. Everything about them, they were good to me. Customer service was great. I had no issues with them whatsoever. But I moved on to other bigger and brighter places. Oh, by the way, here's an interesting story. I used to, when I lived in Florida, this was 2008-ish, 2009-ish, probably 2007, 2008. I used to go to a coffee shop every morning, and I used to do a lot of writing, a lot of articles, and that's when I was in the mortgage business, so I was doing a lot of training with the mortgage business. I was also younger, of course, and so I'm at a coffee shop, and this gorgeous girl sitting next to me. So, of course, me being the stud that I am, I start up a conversation with her. And come to find out that she, at the time, and I couldn't tell you her name today. I mean, we used to be Facebook friends back when Facebook first started up. We exchanged numbers back then. And here's the reason why she exchanged numbers. Not because I was, dashing and debonair and, I had all the pickup stuff. She owned or developed her own cell phone company. It was, at the time, it was called No Limit Wireless, and it was in the South Florida area. I remember this because she had her daughter in with her, 12, 13-year-old daughter with her. And we were talking, and her daughter had written on her hand, it says, make sure you say this, remember this, remember this. And I don't know why I remember it, but I did. No Limit Wireless. So her and I, not the daughter, but the lady, her and I exchanged phone numbers. We'd contact each other several times, never on a romantic level whatsoever. We met at the coffee shop several times and got together and just chit chatted about different things. To this day, I couldn't tell you what her name was. It was some Indian name. She was from India. Very attractive. She was born in this country, but her ancestry was Indian. So they had a cell phone company called No Limit Wireless, which later I found out she sold, and it became Metro PCS. That's right. It became Metro PCS, and she made a gazillion dollars from it, I guess, or something like that. Over the years, and I had Metro when I was down in Florida as well. So I had T-Mobile, then I went over to Metro. This is before T-Mobile bought Metro. Okay. Metro PCS, another fantastic cell phone company. I had zero issues with it. I also, because of T-Mobile, I don't think I purchased a cell phone 10 plus years. And because different carriers, because of Metro started the craze, I do believe, of switch over to us, we'll give you a phone. All right, no problem. So after a couple of years with Metro, had their phone, another company, and I don't remember which one it was, offered phones as well if you switched over to them. So I did, and I got another phone. About a year later, I said, might as well switch back to Metro. They're offering me a phone. So I went back to Metro. I must have done that 6, 7 times. Every year I went to a different carrier. Favorite being T-Mobile and Metro. And then when Metro bought T-Mobile, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Then I found a company called Visible. I don't ask me why or something. I guess I just stumbled upon different things. I was on a couple of forums, and if everybody knows what a forum is, about cell phone companies. And yeah, Bill says he's on Straight Talking is good. And I'll talk about Straight Talking in just a second, Bill. So I found out about Visible. I said, you know what? Let me try this Visible thing. Now, Visible is strictly online. They do not have any kind of brick and mortar stores whatsoever. If you cannot handle customer service being strictly with chats, no telephones at all, you're not going to like it. All right. But they had a thing called Bring Your Own Phone. A swap program where you bring your own phone and you can swap it for one or two of the phones that they had available. Now, the phones you swapped it with, it doesn't matter what kind of condition your phone was in as long as it turned on. And I think it had to be an Android or an iPhone. It doesn't matter who it was with, but it had to be an Android or an iPhone. And I don't know which version, but they still do that to this day. All right, you can do the swap program. So if you have an older phone, you can go over there and get the phone. $25 a month. Unlimited everything, including unlimited data at the 4G speeds. Also unlimited hotspot with it. So when I first got it, they did not have, even though they announced this, there was a cap on speeds. Now, I don't want to get too technical on everybody here, but the 5 megawigabits up and 5 megawigabits down. That's what they did. That's what they capped the hotspot on. But when I first got the hotspot, it wasn't capped. A lot of people on the forums I was on was saying that it's not capped. I guess they didn't realize, they being Visible did not realize they weren't capping the stuff. So what a lot of people did, including myself, is I got something called a MoFi or Mofi. It's like a router type thing, a modem router type thing, where you can take the SIM card out of your phone, put it in this. It would clone the signal, so it would make it appear to be a cell phone. Pick up a signal, and you got internet to your house. So that's how I was getting my internet. Now, AT&T did do this, or still does this, because they have AT&T. Yeah, it's AT&T. They have a tablet data plan, no limits, and use as much data as you want. Another thing I did is I got the tablet data plan for $20 a month, and I got the SIM out of that, and I put it in this MoFi router thing. So there's two different things I can use for it. So that's a whole different story. But anyway, so I started using Visible, bring your own phone. And I had 3 or 4 other cell phones at home, older ones. I said, you know what? I'm going to just start every year for the last 3 years. I just upgraded my phone. And so you just can't say I'm going to upgrade my phone. You have to bring in a new line to Visible. There are some caveats. And if you know how to work the system, you can get it. So for the last 3 years, $25 a month, unlimited and everything, including hotspot for data. The data is capped. I mean, the speeds are capped. The data is not, the speeds are capped at 5 up and down for the hotspot. But Visible Wireless runs on Verizon networks. Every carrier, major carrier, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, they have what's called subcarriers who, the way I understand this, these subcarriers rent the lines, the phone lines or the phone signals from these other carriers. And people without, these are called prepaid plans. So for instance, if you pay now, you'll have it for the next 30 days, for the next month, instead of postpaid with the AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. You get the phone now, and you pay at the end of the month for what you use and stuff like that. So prepaid versus postpaid. So Visible's on Verizon, and like I said, all of these carriers have sub carriers to them. Just as good. People argue all day long, like, no, it's not the same, not the same. Yeah, it is. It's the same network. Now, some of these carriers, their speeds are throttled after you use so much data. So in other words, if your speed is, let's just say 100 megabytes per second, and I don't want to get too technical or nerdy here, they'll cap the speeds and bring it down like to 50 megabytes per second. So what? Believe me, 50 megabytes per second for cell phones are plenty. You can stream anything you want at that point. You don't need the gigawatt speeds and stuff like that. I mean, if you're a gamer, maybe, but for gaming, the way I understand it, it's more for the ping, which is something totally different. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So I needed to find a cell phone carrier or a SIM card for my cousin from Italy. Unfortunately, his cell phone doesn't work with Visible because it's tied to T-Mobile. Great. T-Mobile's plans aren't the greatest, just for 1 month. Metro, you can get to it. It's going to be $50-$60 for 1 month. He only needs it for 1 month. He doesn't need it for any, not even 1 month. So I can't see spending that kind of money just for a 1 month commitment. Then I think, I'm sure you can cancel, but if I go to Metro, I'm going to get a phone with it to do the Metro thing. Why not? It's a free phone, but then you have to keep it for so many days after that. So I probably won't go that route. So what I probably end up doing is first I'm going to take the SIM card out of my phone and put it in his to see if it's actually compatible or not. Even though it says it's not, sometimes it is. If not, I'm going to take the old cell phone I had with Visible, which I still had last winter. I use it as a hotspot for my mother's internet. So if $25 a month, my mother had internet. All she does is play on her phone or tablet and watch a little bit of her soap operas in the evenings. So that's all she needed it for, and it was fantastic. And the cell phone hotspot was fine for it. So we didn't need to get a whole blown out plan for my mom. Still have it. I'm not paying for it each month, but once you stop paying on Visible, they'll hold that number and hold that spot for like 2 or 3 months. I just found this out today. Why? I don't know. I think it's silly. So technically, I still have that same number and still have that same plan. So I can literally go there right now and turn it on, and I'll have that number and that plan back. So, and he can, what my cousin can do, just use the hotspot from that phone for his phone. It's just that simple. The hotspot, no matter where Visible is, you're going to have connection. I mean, no matter where Verizon is, you're going to have connection. So that's what I'll probably end up doing. But anyway, so I learned quite a lot about the cell phone companies, because several of the ones I took, I looked at Mint Mobile, which is I forget who's that. Well, I think it's with T-Mobile, and it works fine, but you have to get a 3-month commitment. So I don't need to do that, and then I have to sign up for the phone and a SIM card, and it has to come to you. The other one I looked into was Boost Mobile, which is T-Mobile as well, but they have a $25 plan as well. But I don't see how, if they send it to you or send you the stuff, or you have to go into the store. I could not figure that out from the website. I'm sure somebody smarter than me can figure that out. Then you have talked about Metro, which love Metro, love the free phones with Metro, and the phones aren't too shabby. Are they top of the line iPhones or top of the line Androids? No, they're not. I'll tell you right now. But there's virtually, I can do virtually anything I want to on my phone that you can do on your fancy dancy phone. I am not paying $1,000 for a phone, for crying out loud, especially when there's places that are giving them away. All right. So Straight Talk. Bill says he's on Straight Talk. All right. The issue with Straight Talk around here is, and I have, first of all, I'm not going to say anything bad about Straight Talk, because they are good. I think I had Straight Talk for a while as well at one point, but they didn't have free phones. That's why I don't use them anymore, because literally I was going between Metro and I used Cricket a couple of times. I should look into Cricket. I never thought about Cricket. Yeah, I forget who Cricket uses. Yeah, I look into Cricket. Cricket was another one. I think that was AT&T. Cricket was another good one. You know what? Let me just look into it right now. Cricket Wireless. Cricket Wireless. Yeah, I had no issues with Cricket, and I got free phones with them as well. Yeah. All right. Cricket. Let me see. Phones. Well, hotspot, accessory shop, inside, plans. Bring your own phone. That's what I want to look at. Device compatible. I don't know if my device is unlocked. Check your device's Android. Okay, here we go. All right, let me put in the dag nabbit. What if I do it this way? Paste. Not letting me paste the number. Fine. No, I'll look into it later. I'm not going to waste your time. But Cricket is another one here. Let me see what their plans are. Hotspot accessory plans. Bring your own phone. Shop phones. Deals. There you go. See, another one. You can get a Motorola Moto G Play phone for $0. All right. But what are their plans here? Plans. Shop plans. Here we go. All right. Limited 15 hotspot. No frills, unlimited high-speed data. Oh, there you go. 5G plan, 5G data hotspots, $30 a month. Oh, Cricket. Oh, I'm so disappointed in you guys. Oh, mercy, prices went up. So I won't be looking at Cricket. All right, so there goes that one. Okay, so with Straight Talk, the way I understood it, let's go back to that. Oh, by the way, over here, want to buy me a drink or buy me a coffee, go to andrewpaletto.com/drink. You can buy me a drink or buy me a coffee. There you go. Check it out. With Straight Talk, they're owned by Walmart, from what I understand. And they basically have one plan fits all type thing. You get one price, one plan, the way I understand it. I could be wrong with that, because I use them for a little bit. And you have to go buy refills each month or something like that. It's fine. No frills, no thrills, no give me Gucci fancy dancy stuff with the plans. That's fine. And you can get them at Walmart. So there you go. Walmart had some deals for a while as well, with some unlimited data with Straight Talk. Also, now Straight Talk offers home internet, which is what T-Mobile offers as well, which is what I use for my home internet now, T-Mobile. So that's my cell phone store. A lot of talk for just trying to find a SIM card for a month, which is a lot more difficult than what you think. Unless if you don't mind paying the 60, 70, 80 bucks for a month, go for it. Hey, if you have money to burn, go for it. I'm not in a position where I can throw out that kind of money, and I'm not going to have him pay for just a 1 month thing. I told him I'd get that. So there we go. So we'll take care of that tomorrow. Okay. All right. Let's now shift focus a little bit. Let's talk about nose rings and piercings and everything else. Girls, especially girls, these younger girls, putting a ring through your nose, and it looks like this, looks like a cow thing. Who finds that attractive? I have yet to find that attractive on anybody. And I have yet to hear of a younger kid thinks that's attractive on a woman. Now, younger kids are idiots anyway. Younger boys, 18-year-old boys are idiots. They're, as we all knew when we were 18, we're after one thing. That's it. We would drive 2 hours for one thing without question. Now, say, drive 2 hours? Are you nuts? I'll stay home and have my whiskey. And I'm sure if Bill's still listening, he'll agree with that one. I ain't driving 2 hours for that. Not anymore, at least. When 18, absolutely, you would. Yeah, you'd drive halfway across the country for it. Now, and maybe across town, maybe go to half hour. I ain't driving 2 hours for it. No way. One of those kind of things. And it's funny because I remember when I was younger, they were a couple older guys says, "You just wait. One of these days you're gonna be saying the same thing I am." Like, I don't think so, man. That stuff is too good. Now I'm older like them. I'm like, yeah, they were right. Last thing you want to do is drive 2 hours for that. But girls, piercing up your nose is not attractive. Maybe it's a fad for the young kids, which I don't get. Hey, man. Hey, first of all, if you want to mutilate your body, put holes all over your body, go for it. If you find that it's good for you, great. I shave my head. Some people say that's not attractive. Well, that's what I do. That's fine. My opinion. And my opinion is my opinion. And since this is my show, as the Judge Judy says, my opinion is the only one that counts. That's right. So during my show, that's my opinion. If you want to debate me or talk to me about that, I'd be more than happy to. Let me know the reasonings for it. But piercing your nose with the hoop and around the nose, that's the dumbest look. All right. I also think guys wearing earrings is dumb. That's me being old fashioned. And I don't want to get into the whole what is a woman versus what is a man thing. Another one. It's just this simple, folks. You step out of the shower, dry yourself off, you look in the mirror. If you see something dangling, guess what? You're a guy. If you don't, guess what? You're a girl. Ain't much harder than that. Now, if you want to tuck it, I guess, and walk around and with makeup on and get all dolled up and say you're a girl, great, fantastic. But if you don't look like a girl, don't expect me to call you a girl. And if I do, or if I call you a guy by mistake, don't get mad at me because you're an ugly girl. Now, I remember I was at some event in Tampa, speaking of ugly girls, and I'm sitting closer to the back, I'm watching the show, if you will, and there's all kinds of people there from all walks of life, all ages, and it was more of a like a karaoke contest type thing. And so standing room only, I'm sitting in the back. Sitting next to me is at the time what I thought was a female, and very made up. I mean, makeup was applied perfectly, very pleasant, very polite, but it was the ugliest good looking girl, if I want to say that right, I've seen. It's a very pleasant, very cordial. We had a great time talking about the singers. Nothing on the romantic side, nothing on the sexual side. But I kept thinking when we were talking, looking at her face, Like the makeup was spot on. I mean, it was impeccable, but the features just were ugly. She was ugly. Come to find out, we exchanged Facebook names. Find me on Facebook and everything else. So, okay, no problem. So again, nothing romantic whatsoever. Nothing. I want to date you whatsoever. Just two friends talking about singing and karaoke and things of that sort. Went to this person's Facebook page, and it was a trans person or a drag person or something. Whatever the proper terminology is. So I don't even remember if we friended each other or not because we exchanged numbers and not names but names. To this day, I couldn't tell you who the person was. I just know we had a great conversation. Nothing beyond that, and it was. I would say it was the prettiest ugly woman I've ever seen because the way that the facial stuff was. But so there you go. But anyway, getting back to it, girls, don't pierce your nose. That's just dumb looking, especially if you're older. If you're 40 plus, don't put the hoop in your nose. Gosh, that is so looking. Ugh. Let me take another drink on that one. All right. Belly button piercings, I can dig it. Absolutely. I like belly button piercing. Piercings of the rated R and rated X portions, not a huge fan. Gotta say, I'm not a huge fan. And I love it when they somebody, and this could be male or female, when they pierce their tongue, when they say they didn't do it for sexual reason, they did it because they wanted to. Baloney. There's only one reason to pierce your tongue. One reason and one reason only. And I'll stand by this till the day I die. And it's for sexual stuff. All right, we'll just leave it at that. Once again, you want to debate me on that one? Come on with me. All right, no problem. Now, tell you what, kissing somebody with a tongue ring is different as well. Absolutely is. I'm not saying I have or haven't, but I have. And that was a wild evening. Knew the person for about 5 minutes. That was about the extent of it. Enough to feel what the tongue ring was like. It was cool. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. So yeah, piercings, girls, cut it out. Cut it out with the stupid piercings. And guys, I see guys with the piercing right here. That's dumb as well. You know, I'm not gonna. If you came to me for a job and I didn't know who you were, and you showed up with stupid piercings around, you could be the most qualified person for that job I've ever run into. I'm not going to give you the time of day. I'll get you out of that interview so fast, it's not even funny. And here's why. Not because you're unqualified, is because if I run a business and my business is, let's say, selling widgets, and I'm looking for reps to sell my widgets, I don't want to turn a customer off before the sales pitch is even started. And by that, I mean, there are some people out there who are buyers that if they see somebody with nose rings or piercings here or tattoos up and down their arms and everything else, not saying it's right, wrong, and different. Hey, it's your body. Do what you want to with it. But there are people out there who will judge right away, and they're not going to buy from you. So if you own a business selling something, there is competition out there. You want to keep yourself up with the competition and say, I don't want to lose a sale before it even starts. Again, you could be the most qualified person out there. I don't know if I'd take the chance or not with that. Am I stereotyping? Yes. Is it wrong? Yes. And people say, yeah, but that's me. That's how I am. That's my personality. Great. Fantastic. And I'm not doubting that. I'm just putting my business ahead of you. Why? Because it's my business. And that's why. And I don't know if I explained that properly or not, but that's just the way it goes. All right. Let me look here. Okay. So there you go with that one. Let's talk about pond pumps. If you hadn't seen it yet, on my Facebook page, I posted something earlier where I made a homemade pond pump. Got a big pond, and because of lack of rain this year, in the last couple of years especially, we've developed a lot of algae in the pond. I posted pictures from 5 years ago. We didn't have too much on there. Now, when my father was alive, and he passed away over 5 years ago. The last couple of years he was alive, we were starting to get all kinds of pond moss on the upper pond, on the top layer of the pond. We were trying everything to get rid of it. One of the things is some chemicals we threw in there, which is fine if the water is mixed up and stirred up. The chemicals will work great. But if the water doesn't move or it's not stirred up, the chemicals don't have anywhere to go and they're not going to do much. So over the last several years, I'm saying now I'm looking at the water coming in here. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to go out and do something because my pond pump right now is not 100% waterproof. Going up to the outlet. Yeah, I have the electricity plugged in to an outside outlet, and I don't have the GCFI thing on there yet. So I have to go out there and waterproof it. I guess just put a little bag around it, and so it doesn't get all watery and blow breakers and stuff like that. So you have to take care of that. But anyway, I made the pond pump. I basically cut the bottom of a barrel. It's a 55-gallon drum barrel, 50-gallon drum barrel. Cut the bottom of it, plastic barrel that is. Maybe about Futurecast Sunday's coming up. Tomorrow storm outlook. Okay, well let me look see the weather here. Tomorrow storm outlook. Increasingly cloudy, warm, and muggy. All right, yeah, I go out and do something with it. Freezing, very warm. Chance of storms tomorrow. Okay. Maybe about a foot. I cut the barrel and drilled a hole in the center of it for a 2-inch PVC pipe to go through it. And I put a 2-inch PVC pipe through it. I also drilled small outlet holes on the sides, and I put 2 eye bolts in there. And I'll tell you why in a second. Then I put expandable foam in there and filled it up, and it's a float, so it's the top of the fountain. On the 2-inch pipe on the top, I got a cap for it, and I drilled holes all in there for the water to shoot out of. I got a pond pump, and I went way overboard with this, way overkill with the pond pump. Like it's a 9,000 gallons per hour pond pump, and it's way too much. I should have went with the 4,000, 4,500. That would have been plenty. So I had to make sure I put enough holes in the cap so I wouldn't back down or back up the motor. Anyway, so that's what I did, and put it all together, and actually put the motor inside of a milk crate to help with the filtering process. Yeah, the holes are still big, but big leaves and stuff aren't going to get in there, or big twigs and stuff aren't going to be in there because they'll be stopped by the milk crate. And I attached the milk crate to the eye bolts of the thing, and it floats. The whole thing floats because the pump has a 2-inch PVC pipe connected to the other one in the float, and so it goes up and it sprays out that way. I also put wires on the eye bolts for the anchor. I anchored it in the middle of the pond, plugged it in, and it's good to go. So that's what I did. Looks pretty good. I was going to paint the top of it, but for the time being, it's out there. We still got to move it a little bit, so I got to figure out how to move it, because going out in the middle of the pond with the boat to move it, that's a pain in the ass. And it is very pain in the ass. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. I think I got it solved, how I'm going to, an easy way to move it, but still would need 2 people to do so. But we'll see how that all works. We'll get that done tomorrow. Anyway, so that's it. That's all I want to talk about tonight, popcorn and whiskey. And what I'm going to do now is probably going to, because of a possible storm coming, I got to go out and wrap the electrical box a little bit, because the box itself is waterproof. But now that if this is the box and this is the flap that opens up to plug stuff in, when it's closed, it's waterproof. But when it's opened up, you plug something into it, it's not waterproof anymore. Which I'm getting a waterproof box to go around there. But right now the plug-in is there. Now, if it rains, it's not going to be waterproof and it's going to get into the plug. So I got to go out and change the plug, or at least I'm going to just take a plastic bag and put over the plug itself, wrap it up so it doesn't get moisture in it. That way it won't blow the breakers. I know nothing about electricity outside of that. That's why I have a nephew who's a whiz with it and a brother-in-law who's a whiz with it, with electricity. So they're going to help me out with everything. So, but I can do a pond pump now, which is fantastic. What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, the credit card stuff I have. If you don't know anything about this yet, this is a fantastic one. It's a fantastic way to double your buying power, and two, it's a business opportunity. So whichever way you want to look at it. But if you haven't done so yet, go to andrewpaletto.com/card, just like over here on the side over there, andrewpaletto.com, but instead of /drink, go to /card. Look for it. You can double your buying power. By that, I mean, if you currently have a credit card or debit card now, which pays you 3% on whatever you spend. So think about this. You spend $1,000, you'll get $30 back. Not bad, right? Hey, most people spend over $1,000 a month on the credit cards with their bills and everything else. That's just a fact. How would you like to get dollar for dollar? And right now the promotion is $2 for every $1 spent. So if you spend $1,000, you'll actually get $1,000 worth of buying power. So what do I mean by buying power? To get a card, you become a member of the Z Club, so to speak, and you get Z-Bucks. And what a Z-Buck is, it's redeemable at on an online store from Transact Card. And it's basically just like an Amazon or a Sam's Club or a Costco type thing, constantly building up. And the big launch is going to be in November, when everything's going to come to fruition. You're able to double your buying power. So in other words, if you want a pair of shoes, let's say the shoes you find at the shoe store, whatever that is $100. You go to Amazon, the shoes are $100. You go to the Z Club, shoes are $100, but you can use your Z-Bucks to buy it down. So in other words, since you're buying stuff anyway with your card, your credit card, right? So you're accumulating Z-Bucks. So the same pair of shoes that were $100 everywhere else are $100 in the club, in the Z Club, for lack of a better term. You can use 50 Z-Bucks to buy it down to 50. So in actuality, you're only paying $50 for the shoes because these are Z-Bucks you've already accumulated. I don't know if I explained that right or not, but it's a great concept. And guess what? It's a credit card. Excuse me. It's a credit card. It's a /debit card. And because I say it's a /debit card, it could be used either way depending on the vendor that you're using. They're the ones that determine how they use the card, not you, and not the bank. This is all FDIC insured. It's for banks. It's a Visa card, so it's got to be on the up and up. And again, go to andrewpaletto.com/card to get all the info and go from that route. All right, I'll talk more about that at another time. But for now, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get out of here so I can go wrap up my electrical cord, and we'll go from there. All right, so let me give one last toast. Here we go, folks. Until next time, this is Andrew, Popcorn and Whiskey. I'm the face who runs the place. Okay, so I'll stop it here. So until next time, ciao.